of the Ninjas as we get started. It's the pistol round of Inferno between NiP and G2.
It all comes down to the start. Being able to get off to some good territory on this CT side and defensively playing out this A site. 3 players here. Rez trying to get into the graveyard. ESL here in the info at long.
Smokes down, taps forward for ESL. Let's get away with a decent kill on towards Nico. That's a decent opening, but unable to find anything more here. The taps on from Jax. We'll spot out Rez as Fuzi gets his trades in, but Jax doubles up and breaks open the A site. There's a player out towards Pit. They will try and hold on. Fuzi will be able to trade. Modesty as Jax will end up falling, and Alexi is alone towards clutching. He'll tap on to the player at mini Pit, but Plopsky is going to overwhelm him with the pistol round for NiP.
A very good stalling there of the positioning from NiP. You can see the way that ESL is able to spot the contact, hear a lot of that information coming through from long, and he just underhands the smoke, slows it down out at long. Jax does a very good job of trying to insert himself into library to try and bring some of those advantages back, dealing with Rez out from the graveyard and even onto ESL as well. The issue is so much time stalling coming through. Yeah, the bomb gets planted onto the bomb side, but no one else really wreaks that success. And now for G2, they can try and force it up, get that AK down onto Nico with armor and full utility.
It's a much better start for NiP in this map up. Getting things going initially on the pistol round, and if they can continue the momentum, then maybe this could end up being a decent map for them on the CT side at the very least. G2 did get the bomb plant though, so there is a rebuy back in.
Plopsky with the HE down towards this banana position. Has to be quite deep considering banana control has not been taken at all. So all this early util usage towards the Nana position isn't actually doing any chunks onto the G2 side. And now with the just flash over the top, they're able to start clearing some of this map control and getting up to the half wall with a boost up for Nico.
Looking onto Plopsky's position at the CT across though, so it's not going to be contact yet for G2. Plopsky's also got backup on the site itself. So right now, these 2 SMGs have most of their bases covered, but might get overwhelmed by the rifle if Nico takes the peek at the right moment. Plopsky a little bit late to react, so he takes damage.
Just using that crack position to get the contact, put the smoke down, but he's still taking a lot of damage because of it. Needs to try and set ESL up towards his first Orange's position. G2 are anticipating a B-site execution coming through in their likes, considering the fact that they haven't taken any map control towards A.
Hold down the vertical crossfire from the first boost down the first cubby. Waiting for G2 to go around the corner and try to commit to this. The third player's on the way in. Hampers with the M4 suppressed behind the smoke over at CT. Plopsky's going to burn. ESL is going to let him burn down as well. Try hold the bait and switch. Look for Alexi B getting all-important kill as a player that's already in the site though. Jax the Deagle can trade the man. So a 4 versus 3. Firing through the smoke. Hampers charges forward but doesn't get the kill shot on Munacy. A single point of damage done but eventually gets him through the smoke.
Not a lot of util for NiP to work with. Flash over the top. Hampers is looking for another pick to come through from the coffin's angle.
He sprays manically against Nico. Eventually we'll find that kill. Fuzi actually steals it away from the CT cross. That smoke is finally cleared. And now Hunter and Jax stand alone. 1 player at the Shire, 1 player at Dark. Dark has been tagged to 60 HP. 1 smoke down in from this banana control. And Hunter will strike back on the first player. Hampers and Fuzi working in, and Hunter makes it a double. On for the triple. Once again a multi-frag round for him. Continuing his performance from Vertigo all the way into Inferno.
And we're looking at Vertigo here. We're looking at Inferno. Another beauty of a round coming through from Hunter because he really had to deliver there. You can see the way that Jax is uncomfortable in that dark position. Doesn't have a lot of room to work with, but Hunter being able to utilize that space in the grill position ends up with a triple and just uses that bait of his teammate to pull the attention over. What a force buy back, and just the utility usage to even deal with the anchors on the side before the bomb went down.
Think how quick this responsive has been from G2 as well. NiP with a confident pistol. G2 stormed the site. Yes, it did lose 3 players, but they have put NiP back down to the pistols themselves in their own force buy for round 3. And what could have been a great start to get the first 3 rounds to establish the basis of a CT side will now go back and forth, or at least NiP will look to make it so.
Yeah, G2 thinking about prodding their way forward into a brackets take. Trying to get some of that util forward to force the A players back further into the bomb site. Hunter taking some spam damage down from that P250, and Rez is spotting absolutely no one in brackets aggressive.
Him and ESL thinking of the peaks in, but not seeing anything of the T side yet. Instead, it's back towards Banana onto that B site where it's only Plopsky to hold this time. And again, just as passive back at the CT cross.
Yeah, all the presence is down here on A. So if there's any way that NiP is able to cook up something special, it's driving G2 into that stack play. A lot of entities in and around brackets control.
45 seconds remaining. Timothy thrown over with a flashbang turned away from by Rez. shot from Alexi B does come up with a kill alongside Jax. ESL with a decent responsive on Hunter. There's a 2-for-1 trade. And no more coming out from the Deagle itself. Plopsky on rotation. Can't get to site. Can't deny the bomb plant. And most certainly can't get a retake here.
Simplicity is how I completely look at that round there from G2, using the util down towards that long position, working off one another, trading very well in and around that brackets position, and just making sure they're not getting crumbled by a porch setup or someone aggressing through the long smoke or anything cheeky in with those 3 players that were playing up on A. Only Hunter's the one to fall, damage being taken by Jax, m0NESY, Alexi, and not a massive amount. Plopsky's only option is really try and hold onto this pistol and bring some upgrade into the next. But for G2, what a response this has been since losing the pistol.
Yeah, 2 on the trot. Confidence gain of the force buy back, and now with the rifles held in from the next round, NiP got a rest with the Kevlar from Plopsky really is the main basis for the next buy. They forced the issue here, so this will be a follow-up eco round. A little bit of bonus firepower, sure, but shouldn't be a round victory for them. If they manage to pull it off, then fair play. But in the grand scale of things, this should be G2 with their 3 to start.
Now, typically I wouldn't say this, Jay, but I honestly believe that this map for NiP could be won or lost in the first half. And the reason for that is, let's just think about what could happen in the second. Weak T sides that we've seen from NiP recently, and dominant CT sides on Inferno for G2. So if NiP want to keep themselves in this game and really maintain control, they have to be able to be the force of nature in this first half.
It's not the best of starts to get there, and it certainly won't be a turnaround round. USP's in for the full stack towards the B site, so G2 will work on their defaults. Mostly pressed in towards brackets. They'll take this control, press onto the A site eventually. Maybe contact plays from Alexi or Nico could catch the stack and then just force the rotation back for that bomb carrier again to go towards the A site. They're peeking in dry towards long though, so this shouldn't be a bit more of a formality here for G2.
Now, NiP are just hoping that one of these lurkers aggresses into the bomb site and they can charge down, they can recover a rifle. There's going to be no way of being able to trap that bomb. And look at the control that's even being found by Hunter, slipping in towards CT spawn.
Yeah, backs are turned as well. They'll spot that one player who didn't see him in return. So now just the case of looking for a useful angle. Spray through, there's a little bit of ride. Spray towards Rez will eventually transfer on towards Plopsky. Fuzi with a responsive, and now they should be aware of what's going on here. They might lose that one rifle. See, Nico might be ready to clean it back up. That bomb should commit towards the A site though, and again, it's a formality for G2.
Yeah, I don't know if this rifle's going to get saved in. With the information that Nico's still up here in the half wall, they could think about, especially once the bomb gets down, okay, let's put some emphasis forward on making sure that that rifle does not stay in play.
Could be worth the hunt here. Nico's not moving as of right now, though. Tagged to 50 HP earlier on in the round. Might need that backup to come to him if they want to commit towards the hunt, but the rest of G2 are happy to sit on the back of the A site, hold down the site itself, and just win the round by keeping their weapons in. It's a bit of a hard loss, though. That's an AK now for the CT side.
Now, when we think about some of the Inferno games that have been played by G2 so far in the Pro League, a 16-12 result against LFO and a 16-14 against Fnatic. Now, in that game, they were up 14-6 and ended up closing it out 16-14. So there could be discussion at a certain point here on Inferno if the replication is going to be coming through on G2 struggling to close and maybe having difficulty getting just over that final hurdle. But at least from what we've seen in map 1, I don't think it's a discussion for now.
We might entertain that towards the end, later part of the matchup, maybe towards the end. For now, though, bases have been established. Again, pistol gained by NiP, conversions and turnarounds gained by G2. Now the gun should be brought back into play for the Ninjas. Indeed, the M4s, the AK, the FAMAS out for Plopsky. Not the best to buy, but it is a buy.
Now, NiP are desperate for an opening man advantage. Util usage down towards that bottom of banana position is burning Alexi right down to 13 points of health. That is a very good util placement, and now they're even taking banana control because of it.
Slight gap in that smoke, I think, for ESL. He could use that if Nico starts to overextend. They'll re-smoke it and cover that off. The return HE that came from that T-side line has not done as much on Plopsky and ESL as they would have hoped. Certainly not as much as the Alexi was taken. Oh, Nico got Kushed or dinked down to 3 points of HP. So the damage continues pouring in for NiP.
Yeah, G2 haven't even been able to put themselves in a stance of retaking some of this banana control. They've been hammered by the util and the spam down through that smoke. ESL still holding slightly aggressive, and m0NESY is going to be the first one to fall just on the edge of that mid position towards A.
And still with those 2 low HP players in play, NiP have found an all-important frag. One that could turn the entire round to their favor. Depends how G2 play this out and how much impact Hunter and Jax can get here. Hunter's playing out to the apartment's going to pass that AWP off towards Nico, take the AK back instead. Try playing towards mid.
Well, realistically, they need a playmaker in this sort of round, and it's got to be either Hunter or Jax to create space, to find impact on the bomb side. Starting to put some of that util down towards Moto, and Long is indicating presence towards A. Instead, it's a fake, and they want to try and bring the troops into B.
50 seconds, and Jax will try to lead the charge. You see the comms coming in from those guys. Preparing for an execution, whatever they can muster here. Smokes down from Osprey. Obviously not quite that fantastic. The AK breath attack though, good for 2, not quite for 3. Fuzi's at least able to trade Hunter through the smoke, and Nico will just sneak the bomb plant in here with a 1v4 and 3 points of HP. He won't last long, not even against Fuzi, the first man into the site. AWP saved in, second round for the Ninjas. At least there's a bomb plant bonus, but G2 had cash anyway.
Yeah, fair play to the B side anchors, being able to get a lot of damage forward. When you think that you've already got a couple of players low HP on the T side that are trying to entry forward, Jax and Hunter, they're thinking to themselves, okay, we need maybe 2 kills, we need to not take any casualties getting into this bomb side, and they kind of just go back and forth with the trades, which doesn't help the G2 side at all. At least they get the bomb down. There's that extra little cash injection just before Fuzi aggressed through that city smoke to deny that last kill. It gives NiP that second, and a full buy coming through.
Couple of AK saved in. Extra firepower for the Ninjas in particular. G2, of course, be able to afford the full fire back in. Not a lot of cash in reserve. Not like they'll need it for now. Nico's already found Plopsky kicking things off on the right foot in a banana. Nades back, not quite catching in, but Fuzi tanks one to the face. 71 points of HP. There is a little bit of damage being returned on the G2 side. Jackson Hunter in particular. Back to 65 and 87 with Nico, the early face in against him. Trade potential for NiP, but they're down by a player for now.
Yeah, I love that adjustment, though, from the call of Alexi B. Notice the way that they took, or didn't take Banana in the previous round. They sort of let it come to NiP. That time around, Nico just aggresses through the molly and plays close up towards the half-wall, catching Plopsky completely off guard.
Walk forward, Fuzi and the Molotov in. Great shot as well for the man. Not quite a connection to the second. The leg shot will come down. ESL will lead in against Nico instead. Not capitalizing on the easy kill and overextending to lose his own life. A 4v2 now.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, because that would have been commed over. He's low, swing for the pick to bring it back into the 3v3. What they don't know is the AWP is posted, and also, they don't know the Hampers is here.
Spray through, catches one, swing on a second, and everything gets Hunter to return. Rez with a decent tap to the head, and the bomb being dropped in his presence. A 1v1. Alexi on 16 points of HP has got to play the patient game. Rez adjusting to pit over at the broken wall. His eyes set to the site, trying to look in from short. 20 to the clock. And the lean in is going to spot Alexi, take the kill shot, and take the clutch to win the round for NiP. 3 apiece.
Both players really stepping up there. Hampus out from the graveyard angle, knows he has to really step up big time if they want to try and change the narrative. He ends up getting a couple of kills, and then Rez sets himself up to be deep in the pit, late round to deal with that individual up there at that long position just outside of library. Very well achieved from NiP. Some of these rounds being quite close to the marker. They've tied it up at 3 apiece.
Force back in will come through from G2. A little bit broken on their own account. Again, early utility damage coming in for the NiP side, but it's Hunter that opens up the kill counts. Hampers dead. And that follow-up HE not as effective here for NiP.
Yeah, surprised about the over-aggressive duels that NiP are taking in the early round. We saw it previously from Plopsky towards the top of Banana. This time around, it's Hampus trying to get right into bedroom to look into second mid.
He leans in, almost lands the collateral right there. A tag shot on Jax at the very least. The USP could be enough, but ESL has the M4 to lock it down for certain. And just like that, the man advantage tips the favor of NiP, but only for a brief moment. Hunter again able to respond and draw all attention in towards the A site. They can't get the bomb out this corner though. Munacy has got to stand and fight, and he only goes so far with it again. Plopsky and Rez trading him, and Hunter and Nico alone to clutch. At least finds that first, but now Molotovs and Passiveness coming in from NiP will try lock down the round from here.
Nico trying to come into his own, 1v2, separate the CTs, try and deal with his MP9 first. Knows that he's around second mid somewhere, but even for Plopsky, he's just further backing off and getting further away from the action.
Rotations in from Nico, will try press into the apartments, might counter flank on Plopsky. He's going to rejoin his teammate. They're not watching that bomb directly, I don't think. They'll start to peek in and realize it's still there. It's a case of checking that backline position. I think he just evaded that Voiler player. They might think Apps is completely clear. How much noise does NiKo make here? 20 seconds. He might have to make quite a fair amount of it. Being silent. Oh, he's made noise now. That's it. Round's done. Swing on Rez. Headshot to connect. And NiP take the lead again.
Yeah, unfortunate there. Trying to go with a silent drop down from that hay position, just not quite getting that last movement onto the floor. And as soon as that sound cue comes up, your ears are up, you're spinning around, you're focusing your attention up onto the short side. And for NiP, just notice the trading game that comes through and the backup support at long. Fuzi with that AWP gets a 2-for-1 in the sense that he gets the first kill, a lot of damage onto the second, and with his teammate there in support, it meant that G2 could just not keep fighting, and then even the bomb gets trapped from m0NESY.
Felt like that was really the round-winning moment there for NiP. Only gave it credit on the clutch because of NiKo's abilities, but one mistake led to his demise, and now G2 are down to pistols here in round 8. Hunter Tech 9, 4-1 against Fuzi, wins out the fight against the man. Foxy's there, out Banana. We get the trade back on Alexi through to smoke, but now a flank angle taken with an M4 picked up. Hunter could still work with this.
Hey, this is promising. With armor to work with, he can get into library, try and cut some of the rotates, recover that bomb down towards the bottom of B. And m0NESY expecting a walk up, an aggressive play towards the top of Porch, and just try to see if they can engage another fight here.
Open over at Moto, so there's a chance that they can engage against Hunter. He gets the kill for his trouble, then that would be disastrous for NiP. Only 2 players to find on the A site. The other 2 will be slow to rotate. They are thinking about finding better angles, more passive on that B site position. They are hoping that Hunter overextends. He tries to go back into that B site and give up the ghost here to the Ninja side.
There's got to be a player to A, not taking any of this banana control. You've got Hunter trying to fight those rotates, but no one's really rotating off a B right now.
Hampus and Rez finding their angles, checking both entryways. m0NESY now spotted by Hampus. That should give the ghost up on what's going on here with this play. Can't get a kill for it, and they won't commit to a full-on rotation. m0NESY gonna abuse that CT smoke down to the apartments, try to drop in from the Keo position. Jax gets caught for it. m0NESY able to get a couple of deagle shots in, though. Go back for that bomb and get it planted. 2v2. Concern will be HP and the Kevlar lacking there 4. And Eco still gets dealt with m0NESY in the 1 versus 2. Deagle pulled out, spots them both. Desperate to tap onto their heads, needs to hit these shots perfectly, but it's not perfect for him. Glopsky closes the round. NiP will take damage with their 5th.
Yeah, overall, though, you'd have to say wonderful eco coming through from G2. Not a lot of investment into that round. You're right, though. As soon as that smoke comes down from the pit player of Hampus up to the apartments to try and stall any Apps pop or Apps presence, it almost gives a way of safety and a way over for m0NESY to get up onto Keo from that porch boost, continue to walk forward, get a couple of kills, get the bomb down into the side. Yeah, they don't actually turn that 2v2 into anything more. It's still damage being done.
That's the key thing, right? We talked about it during the start of Vertigo, the economy game. The first 10 rounds, that's the big thing you're playing for here, and G2 have managed NiP's money state pretty well so far. Opening kills coming in once again for m0NESY as he takes down Rez. If they find a round out here, they could reset the Ninjas.
No, Rez doesn't even want to take a fight there. All he wants to do is have a good spot to put an incendiary down towards the Mexi angle, and he just can't even get it. Beat to the marker, m0NESY with that AWP striking off, and Plopsky's known towards logs now.
Gonna get a decent tag off from NiKo though, 48 HP. He's working from ESL, gonna try and throw the information game off for G2, making a bit of noise though, trying to indicate that there's a player rotating back, but 2 more commit on the defensive here. They do lose Fuzi on the A side though, and he's the only player standing up. Hunter's found a line in, so the bomb's gonna commit. This should be round over.
And that is the worst outcome for an in-game leader, is when you take 3 players on dominating Banana, taking the map control away, trying to slow it down for G2, and your A player of Rez gets picked off by the AWP almost instantly in the round, and then your last A player of Fuzi gets caught off by Hunter. You just have to save. There's nothing that you can do here for the Swedes.
It all came down to that one individual on the A site. That's all you can really say against the man, and well, just hold on to your rifles from here. G2 will take 4. And with the money state of NiP, this makes a lot of sense, right? There's no cash. That for 3 players in particular, they're less than $1,000. ESL and Fuzi will be the higher rollers, but then you consider as well the lack of loss bonus that NiP have built up. It's going to be a very rough buy-in from them.
I don't even know how much we can entertain it with just the money line. You even think about that kill coming through from Library. NiP have got no idea, is City Spawn compromised? We're not in rotating position. So even if the money was flourished and there was heaps of funds to work with, this is still a round that NiP probably would not have got at. Just with the positioning that came through, the way the pick came so deep on the edge of that A site. And G2 know the importance now about following up, getting a couple of rounds in a row, and really targeting the reset on the economy game.
Of that harsh reset, go to Eco in the next round. Should be seeing the force buy in from NiP here. Indeed we will, getting most of the main rifles out, 2 AK saved. Of course, M4's pop back and forth, and then Famas for Fuzi be the weaker element. Again, going to try and go for the mid peak. Not that awful to worry about in Muncie. He'll try and play in towards Banana instead. Nades and Molotov down against Plopsky, already tagged to almost half. Counter Nades will try come in, and Nico and Alexi will take some damage for it. Down to 27 again for Alexi. Nade to his position. Doesn't quite land the kill shot. Plopsky will try and look for it regardless. Aggressive ahead of the smoke. Spots Nico, sprays, transfers to Muncie blind, and almost gets him the same.
Yeah, Plopsky even thinking about a reface, trying to hug that wall, get over towards the corner of the smoke and fight again.
He will get Alexi for his trouble. The incendiary's forcing him to back out of Banana. Had he stuck around, he would have been a dead man. And even Jack's tanking some damage as well. It's all going up right here for NiP.
You'd have to think, for G2's standpoint, taking Banana without losing casualties is a difficult factor for them right now. Molly goes out towards the sandbags, try and draw some of those positions out to the open. Jack's really decimating to try and get a fight forward. Deals with Esatag. Plopsky's fallen back, low on HP, but has still been alive.
Needs that backup to come in though. Fuzi with a lack of firepower. Jackson the numbers on HP line. Plopsky and Nero's footstep free. Fire it. Bring on Monacy. Make it a quadra. Try to get his own ace here in this matchup. But it's Fuzi to seal it away instead. Famas out ahead of the site. Had the high HP. Plopsky didn't need to peek. And NiP will defend the lead.
NiP are doing a sensational job on maintaining Banana control, putting their nades down, chunking damage, and playing with confidence too. Just look at that from Plopsky. He's able to do so much damage in the first 30-odd seconds of the round, and then even when they've got a 5-on-4 and they know that Alexi's still down there towards logs or hugging that left-hand side, he's just refacing, just constantly looking for fights.
All-important 6 for NiP defending themselves. G2 couldn't get that reset in. Take a moment's respite before jumping into the next one. It's been a much more competitive affair in the early part of the map up, Dweck.
And this is what we're hoping for in a series like this, is it's not just a bombardment of a 2-0 and NiP's hopes and dreams of having a complete clean sheet of that 5-0 record come through going into the playoffs. G2, on the other hand, will feel as if they haven't gotten off to the best of starts here on T side, the difference being 2 right now.
One AK saved in for the Ninjas. The default set is Esatag walks up to Banana, tanks some damage of 58 points of HP to a HE, the G2 side. But will hold this map control and not be challenged directly by them.
I just noticed, rather than fighting Banana, they're taking quick apartments control, getting players into that boiler position, giving that indication forward of Rez, who's going to re-smoke down towards the brackets in case of any pop. The G2 can think about retaking some of the Banana control back later into the round. This AWP from Fuzi playing up on the short side.
Smokes down, suppress one individual. The AWP of Fuzi will get flashed off. Instead, it's Rez to line up those 2 kills on Jackson. Alexi try to look for the triple. That's what he gets, even the quadra against Muncie. And the whole round falls down for G2. Nico in a 1v4, and they're hunting for the kill as well.
We're getting glimpses out of what these individuals can post up. Plopsky in that last round with 4. Now Rez with 4 himself. NiP, players are stepping up for them.
You know, wonderful stuff. Looking for this CT half victory. You mentioned how important it would be for them. It felt a little bit iffy at the start. It's Rez to close down that ace. The second ace of the matchup going the way of NiP this time. What a hell of a defensive he had.
Yeah, nice smile there for Rez, and he deserves it. That was a very clinical brackets take for G2. They put the long smoke down, they flash over the top, they force the AWP away. The only player they don't is the one down there on Porch. Rez with the swing out, not getting mollied. So much damage in from him. He gets up to 12 kills and just 6 deaths. And for NiP, their main target has got to be trying to get double digits in this first half.
10-5, very workable for them, and they get things started on the right foot for round 12. Boozy picking up Jax, and Alexi trying to trade back in Banana. Not quite as accurate as that AWPA was. Losing one teammate and falling away towards that mid position. Plopsky will start to lean ahead of the incendiaries. The smoke's coming down at Banana. Will spot Alexi above the woods. That get a tag off, but take a kill to return.
Yeah, buying quite heavy down with a couple of these players. Alexi in particular want to get as much out of this round as possible. Try and beat some of those rotations. Hampus coming out from spawn. Esatag going to be here to try and put the smoke in.
Smoke's up. Pressure involved. Hampus looking to lean in. If they find that boost at the right time, then that could lead to his demise. Oh, it didn't spot Munacy either. Fortunately, Munacy didn't take the shot. 60 seconds left in the round. And this bomb is starting to rotate away from Banana here. They might try rotate to the A site. There's two players leaning in from mid now.
Yeah, Nico actually ran forward and jumped to try and pull Hampus into the open to allow that boost up into sandbags to work out successfully. You're right about the splitness. This is trying to maybe characterize an A-set play to over-rotate one of the B players away.
Depends if they want to bite the bait. Incendiaries come down. There will be a rotation back, so it rests mostly on Esatag to try and hold defense. That bomb will get picked up. Hunter is lurking in from long, but as he gets picked up by Fuzi, that should call in the info. Is the rotation going to be quick enough back here for NiP? 20 seconds. Alexi spotted by Esatag, gets his kill, and now they will get that second player in with an incendiary down at the right moment. Hampus will fall. Time still ticking. Now Esatag got to look up high towards that boost. Nico can overwhelm. A 2v2. The bomb's getting planted. The retake is on for NiP, or is it? Big gap. Shot doesn't connect. Munacy trades it, and now it's Rez to clutch.
Now everything coming together. We've seen what Riz has been able to do only a few rounds ago. Now he's got to step up again. He's got a kit to work with, so the time's a factor.
It begins slowly. Munacy's back turned, but covered off by the coffins. Nico out towards the new box, and Munacy spots his man. Rez tanking the damage, looking for the headshot desperately, but Munacy says, no, I want a double kill. That's exactly what I'll get. A 5th round for G2 as well.
Jeez, that really did not look likely that was going to happen from G2. With the mindset of selling the fake, they pull Hampus over. Unfortunately, they lose Hunter in the exchange on the Arch duel, and Esatag gets pressured. Nico getting up high with that Deagle over the top of the first oranges, dealing with Hampus first on rotation, then onto Esatag, and as soon as it gets into that 2v2 position, when you've got rifles in play, notice how immediately Monacy's looking for another frag, because he doesn't have any armor in that one. He knows the only way to successfully deal with this post plant is to continue fighting, and that's exactly what he did.
G2 gaining an unlikely scenario to their favor. Now a tactical timeout will get called in by NiP. Still one away from winning the half. Still having 10 rounds on the table if they can get this flawlessly from here. Gunbuy will not feature any AWPs for them, though. Lack ahead, Kevlar, and a couple limitations on utility sets. And only one kit as well for Fuzi. It's not the best setup for NiP, but it's still at least a rifle buy.
I'm worried about the incendiaries, Jay. Just think about how many of them have been used previously to take some of this banana control. G2 are going to know that the economy is not quite as high as it once was for the Swedes. Taking banana might not be as easy, and look at the protocol. NiP at B, they're playing it passive.
Only one incendiary thrown down by G2 instead. Fuzi. Boost up Rez to look over the smoke in at mid. Munacy is ready for it. Gets the opener.
Exactly what they're looking for in a round like this. And while that's all happening, Hunter has been able to slowly maneuver his way forward into the A side, try and catch them off guard, and Hampus almost falling to the AWPA. They do a lot of damage onto Monacy.
NHP, Hunter now sneaks in from Boiler, and Fuzi's ready for him. So a 4v4 is eventually gained. NiP hold their control. And G2 forced to rotate into an open and free banana.
Now, that's an important response coming through from Fuzi, backing away up onto the short position to get into the A side of dealing with that lurk, making sure that Hunter's not able to over-rotate them or mind-game them at all. Nico's going to put a smoke down over towards lurk at B, but the rest of the players are regaining mid to lean over to A.
Walking in slowly and carefully, Hampus hoping he catches some information here in the bedroom. M4 just waits for it. Anyone extends out to apartments, that's his prey. There's no one on the A site directly here. He could find the flank angle, but Nico's caught him instead. Headshot gained, Fuzi. No angle to fire back. 3 of the archers hold on to his M4, fall back into the B site. All 3 players calling in the save.
What an important clearance that is coming through from NiP. And he's the one with the bomb too, just clearing out all of those angles into the apartments in case anyone's aggressive. Because that whole play there for NiP is, okay, let's leave Hampus aggressive in bedroom. He's going to hear some of those rotates and the util being pulled from the mid players into A. Except, oh, hang on a minute. It's a contact. We're not seeing the moto smoke. We're not seeing the long smoke and the molly out for Porch. It's silent. And that's what catches them off guard completely.
That's the double digits denied by for NiP as well. G2 with their 6th. Winning max rounds of 9 at the turn of the half for NiP, and they might not even get that far. Again, the economy state pretty dire for them. 3 weapons saved. I think they'll have $1,900 in the bank accounts. I think that's where the loss bonus was at here. Let's have a look. Yeah. If they lose any weapons, that's going to be all important. Fortunately, S-Attack stays alive. But in this scenario, do you think they buy?
Oh, that's a tough call, isn't it? Because you've got 3 rifles saved in, so you can force it down, get a couple of MP9s out of there. But you also have the other mindset of, do we just play 3 M4s, USP? I think in this sort of situation, lower the risk factor. Get those USPs out to back up the M4s, and then buy in the next round.
That's what they'll do. USPs. No investment. $200 gained by Fuzi, I think, to buy a flashbang. That's it, though. Very little in this round. And I mean, G2 did pull off a round like this in the previous map up, so maybe NiP could try to channel that inner tenacity. Dish out the damage early on. They've lost the first pistol. It's Hampus that's fallen. In the apartments, Jack spotting the second pistol as well. Rez to get out of dodge. Boosted to cover it off.
Don't know what's happening with the Zeus here. He wants to get rid of that. Put a HE down out to that graveyard position. Try and force another fight. Fuzi dealing with Jax. They might want to get aggressive into the apartments to see if they can recover that weapon.
Hunter putting a Molotov down and indicate he's still here in the apartments. Meanwhile, over towards the B site, S-Attack is standing alone against the other 3 G2 players. Hunter just lurking out this position. That bomb is considering a rotate here. It depends how well this duel goes. If they get S-Attack, they storm the B site. Alexi and Nico will peek together. Will they line up for the M4? Is his placement correct? Is there any flash to support it? Gun barrel seen. That's a bait and switch. Wonderfully done. Wonderfully called. Then that should be round.
That's textbook, isn't it? And even Hunter's going to try and cut the rotates, keep it more expensive. And that's the last thing that NiP want. You either want to get as much damage out of the round as possible or keep those rifles alive. They've held on to 2, so they've only lost 1 for the moment.
Won't be able to get a third one back, of course. Nice they can grab the AK up towards top mid, but I doubt they will be able to do so. Might not even attempt to do so. Rez is pushing forward towards T apartments, but he will find a corner, as will Fuzi. And this will be 7-all. G2 will make this as close a half as they possibly can.
Yeah, they're narrowing down on the victory now. Putting on a good performance on T side for G2 is going to be everything for them going into the second half. And for NiP, you could just see the bait, right? The way that the slide gun barrel is being seen by Nico. And as soon as that overextension comes through, Alexi's ready for it. And both players on the money towards that B-site play. 7-7. It really had that expectation of 10, 11 possible rounds for NiP. We're not even in that conversation anymore.
Yeah, we're looking towards double digits as being the main sort of goal for NiP in this one. That goal is not going to be realized at all for them. The best that they can do is that 8th. And again, the question crops up, is that going to be enough with how dire the T-sides have looked on Inferno in the past for this team? This is almost a must-win round. Even that, those questions applied. Incendiary's out, Molotov's down. Plopsky just jumped facing to look for contact. Won't be able to see anything. It's G2 that gained banana control.
And Nico getting flashed over, pressure building. They might try and refight this. Plopsky over aggressive, gets dealt with by Nico. And now for S-Attack, he's got to buy some time to allow that rotation from Fuzi.
Yeah, evaded the flash entirely, was not blind. The kill comes in easy. He follows up through the smoke on S-Attack and all. Step the CT cross, now the Orpa of Fuzi with everything to do. G2 is storming his B site. Nico's leading the charge. Finally, a decent shot comes back as he leans further forward. Hampus will fall towards the A site. Alexi cleans up the Orpa, and the M4 is in a 1v4, which he just cannot win. Jax to close it out, 8-7 at the turn of the half. G2 might not have held the confidence start that they did over on Vertigo, but at least they still have a half advantage, a round advantage going into the second after the break.
guess what we have been going through on Mirage was, it's tough to explain because, like, they were smashing us in the first half. Like we were like, you lose first map and then they smash you first half of second map, and then we somehow bounce back and we make the comeback, and then like I felt like we were in charge. We were in the lead throughout a couple of overtimes. We were the ones saving match points, but we just kind of threw away every single one of them. So it sucks that we couldn't close out the Mirage after such a comeback. Like they did a comeback on Inferno, but they managed to close it out, right? We did a comeback on Mirage, but we just didn't manage to close it out. So it's unfortunate now those maps we could have closed out, because one thing that is missing in these like moments is the coach, right? I mean, it's very hard to close out the map. Like you have the coach behind who has bigger picture, because he's not really tunnel visioned. He's not under too much pressure in the game. You know, he sees a just bigger picture, so he can make a right call to close out the round or just to calm you down. You know, I mean, we were kind of calm, but we just couldn't find a solution on how to close the maps out, I would say. So the feeling was intense throughout the whole final, because it was always back and forth, close rounds, and it was very nice experience to play. But it sucks that we couldn't win a map at least, because I think if we would have won one map, I think we would have won one more at least, and then potentially the fifth map could have been the decider.
Comparison to how things played out over on Vertigo, but as we transition to the second half, it's the T side that becomes the next big concern for the Ninjas here, Dwayne. What confidence do we have in this side to be able to pull this off?
Well, they had confidence in their third game that we saw against Mousesports. A good T side there, but in the last head-to-head against G2, 5 T rounds was all that we saw by NiP. So it starts with a pistol, and it starts with the bait and switch. NiKo trying to draw the attention away from m0NESY.
We tried this in the previous half there in that last round. NiP pulled the bait and switch, G2 pulled the bait and switch against NiP when they were on the T side. It's Hunter that kicks things off out on the other side of the map. m0NESY at least one decent kill. Alexi falls back into the back of B. This is a 3v3 for the time being. He stands alone, but Jax is coming in for the backstab. That bomb's going to try and commit. Alexi, what can he do from this position? It's finding an engagement for Jax. Lands another great headshot for him in the pistol basis. Plopsky also falls, and it's Fuzi. Now he's the man alone. A 1 versus 3 scenario with the bomb being dropped in the back lines of that B side, and surely the next peak will be his last.
Yeah, simplicity done right there for G2 again. The way that they contact off one another towards the top of Banana, and once they've got that mid-aggression, Alexi's just not peeking. Knows he has to stay alive out from the new box because Jax has got the wrap, and Fuzi's now the last one that gets peeked in by Jax. A great wraparound play coming in, and with Alexi not peeking, it just didn't give any advantages forward for NiP on that side take into B.
Great start for G2. Lockout defensive, a backstab that worked so wonderfully. Again, they've rehearsed this, they've practiced this, they're coming to this series prepared. They forced out a very early tactical pause from NiP in the second half.
I don't mind this at all for NiP, just knowing, okay, didn't get a bomb down. What do we want to try and set up? Do we go in for one of these force investments? We saw it for G2 when we think back to even the start of Inferno, losing the pistol, but then getting the hero rifle out onto someone like NiKo. Yes, that was a bomb plant, so it's a slightly different protocol that's in place, but take the tactical, mentally reset, and just realize the options that they've got in front of them. Either a complete Glock round and a light eco, or the force invest are the two options they can go for.
Let's see which option they decide to pick. Whether or not that'll be successful for them, whether or not it will have any major impact. G2, the ones currently in full control of this half of this map, this series thus far. It will just be the straight Glocks now for NiP. Want to go for those early guns.
Try and just see if they don't get farmed in a round like this, right? 3 MP9s out for the CT side. You don't really want to be giving as much of that kill bonus over to them as possible. And m0NESY with the scout just jiggling up into the angle, looking into brackets. NiP, players all over.
Hunter pressing forward ahead of the flower beds. Flashed in towards brackets itself. Will not quite find contact against the NiP side there. Pretty well hidden as of right now.
And try and hold on to the util as well, you'd have to imagine, for G2. Don't want to be using all of it down up against the anti-eco. NiP thinking about bomb rushing outside of this boiler position. Modessy's going to be the first one on contact, and at least the one to gather the information to comment over.
A dodge for the scout player leaning in towards the apartment's entrance. Back out towards long just in case. It's NiP that start their positions. Start their move in from brackets. Scout shot disconnect towards the first. Eventually get the kill towards Rez and tap forward on Hampus as well. Beautiful. The money shot, if you will. And looking for a triple and all here against Fuzi. The bomb should be dropped pretty effectively. A scout no scope even lands. What a round that was. An eco rush that went fully the way of the G2 side.
A young man showing up in a very good position, just making sure that any of those entrances forward into Arch, into CT, is going to be damaging full. The Scout coming through with some connections, the P250 as well, and NiP focusing their full attention now into the rifle round. Double digits and a 10th gained by G2. If they can continue this momentum and this roll, this could be them getting closer towards the magic marker of 16.
As of right now, they're 3 in the lead. That Scout and Modesty is looking for a bit more against these rifles. If he lands any kills, it's going to be massive impact against the NiP side. A weakened weapon as well, part of the bonus buy for G2. No major investment coming in for them as of right now.
Plopsky getting slightly further aggressive to catch off Modesty on an aggressive angle outside of the boiler, but he's fallen back into the bomb side. And G2 as a whole, I just have a look at the radar. No one directly on B, everyone on the back foot. They're giving a lot of respect to NiP gaining map control.
Those smokes down onto the long position and keep G2 at bay. A counter nade lands wonderfully on 2 individuals. A follow-up HG from Hunter as well. And Plopsky will sponge that. Fuzi not taking much more in turn. That's still 2 players, less than 60 now.
Yeah, 4 and A is a very good read here for G2. And even another HE is banged up here from Jack. So that can go forward into the short side when Alexi takes the contact.
All a case of timing is how much damage it does and whether it lands towards Fuzi and Plopsky. Smokes in to suppress for time, though. G2 know that they've got the clock on their side. 40 seconds for the NiP hit.
They're starting to rotate away. They're getting the indication that there's something over towards B. That smoke has cancelled the A play, and Nico's playing very up close with that MP9 while the support's coming through.
One player back out towards Coffins. Have they gone to B now? They would only have to deal with Nico's Scout. Oh, sorry, the Scout and Modesty that does support the SMG. 20 seconds. Time's running short. Base in. Modesty takes a bit of a dink back. Molotov's into the backside. Nico still waiting. Should be known here. Checked by Plopsky. Spray still gets away with a decent kill, but both those CTs are over when the bomb goes down. And G2 a little bit hesitant to the retake, but I think they're going to commit to it.
They could just save here. 3v4. You don't really have a lot of players in good position, so could look for some exit kills, try and regroup, make it more expensive, look to buy up in the next. That was just a bonus round. You could just see the way that Modesty, without him finding a pick or at least a tag up with that Scout, it meant that that bait and switch on the crossfire with Nico in the first oranges was so much more difficult to work with.
There's an NiP with their bite back. Again, G2 with a bonus round, so just damage is what they can really take away from this. The damage being done towards Plopsky, reinvestment can come through. NiP a little bit limited on the cash funds. They exhausted all the utilities, so they're going to rebuy into that as well. There should also be a full buy back in from the CT side.
Yes, definitely so. Get that buy back up. NiP, good entries out towards that banana position, and even for G2 standpoint, the fact that they put a bracket smoke back through, they get Alexi slightly further aggressive on the porch and don't see anything, they don't rotate enough over to the B side. So maybe that information that we saw wasn't quite gathered into the same extent, because it looked as if a third player on rotation was going to go there to B, but it ended up just being one of Modesty to back up Nico.
One of those players that are on the rifles for this next round. The M4's brought down. Still the 2 SMGs rocked by Hunter and Alexi. Respect it, get as much value out of these SMGs as possible, and if they can get damage on NiP, again, it limits the economy stay. Already using a ton of util to try and gain banana control from the T side. Then Alexi just rushes down Hampus with the SMG. Finds the frag, doesn't get the AK for it. Jumps in against Rez, who now reveals his position. Takes a lot of damage alongside Fuzi down to 58. G2 are playing this wonderfully again.
Yeah, Rez is lucky to get out of that Logs position alive. Now the factor is, what can he actually do? Because if they just flash high over the top and continue to swing, surely he gets a 1-for-1 at absolute most.
Rotations are considered here by the NiP side. Utility being set up. That bomb is currently up top mid. Hunter waiting, flash forward. Alexi caught off by Plopsky. So 4 versus 4. NiKo behind the sandbags will not spot anybody else. They rotate for the A hit, it seems.
Even though that pick comes through as a response, it doesn't break away the setup. 3 players up onto A, and NiP are running into the trap.
Smoke ahead of Hunter. I don't even think it landed, actually. He gets away with the kill on towards Rez, based on the second man, and drops in the same. Fuzi needs to double up, and he only gets 1 frag. Essa tag now, the bomb being dropped in over at Brackets. Not aware of the play off, but Keo gets Jax at the very least, adjusting towards the man, but can't transfer to Munacy. So it will be 11 rounds now for G2.
And just think about the setup there for the B players. The way that you've got an individual hugging the half wall, but then NiKo behind on the sandbags, just kind of gives that indication that for NiP, okay, well, we've got a pick towards top banana, but they don't really know that we're falling away. They don't know that we're continuing to maintain the presence. NiKo gets up on the sandbag, sees nothing more, and tells Alexi and the rest of the crew, stay on A, there's no more presence.
NiP can at least try and back into the follow-up round. The AK is coming in across 4 players. But Deagle for Rez will be the limiter again, and a lack of utility once again has been plaguing NiP throughout the course, not only of the start of this half, but also the tail end of the last.
Now, we could be looking realistically at a 13-8 scoreline, so this round is so vital for NiP to come through with success. Alexi getting deep down towards that Logs position. Hampus has been able to get to the edge of the apartments. He'd love to be able to deal with Monacy getting back into the side.
Rotation, a bit of a crack angle held by that rifle win. Apps, he's spotted. He doesn't get away with a decent tag on Hunter. Monacy forced to adjust himself temporarily. Could have been a chance of action for NiP had they had full brackets control, but they didn't. That one will get picked up, and the 2 CTs up at Banana will start the rotations. Essa tag caught in the shoulder. Munacy somehow stays alive against Plopsky. Can't hit that second shot and won't get a chance at the third. A trade finally found at a 4 versus 4, and they have their heart set towards the A site as they continue to push in. Jax backed up over at the pit position. The smoke goes down, the engagement comes in, the damage has been done as well. Meanwhile, Hunter on the site holds on to a kill. Jax makes it a double, and Rez now spotted out with the AWP, a 1v4 clutch. Gets that first pick, can't see that second player, knows he's somewhere on the site, but where is the big question? He can't find the angle, and he most certainly won't find the kill. Hunter catches him looking the wrong way. It's 12 for G2, and we could be looking at that worst case 13-8.
And what sucks there for NiP is they do such a good job of making sure Monacy only gets 1 pick. They put him in a position because he gets so aggressive that realistically, you're not going to find a second there. You'd have to hit a wild shot when you get there at Porch on that pillar position. So while they've traded the AWP 1-for-1, what about the players on the bomb site? Hunter and Jax being deep in pit and on the site respectively. They do such a grand job.
The pistols pulled out for NiP. No force buy back into this round. Nades to do some damage to the likes of Rez. Minimal being done though. Not like it matters in the first place. Not a lot of resistance that NiP can post up here. The pistols with the lack ahead Kevlar. Get a couple of tags on Alexi B. He's alive at 22 HP.
And now even the take out to Brackets, gonna get denied too. NiKo spamming through the bottom of that banana smoke. Him and Alexi doing work. And now G2 is starting to maintain the progression of taking banana and continuing to put damage up. NiP, you got 1 Deagle and a P250 with the last couple of players. Don't have much to work with here.
The burst fire of NiKo down into that banana smoke. Top of the broken wall now. Spot spray, kill found on 2 and 3. Easy mop up for the quadra overall. There it is, 13-8 G2. Only a few rounds away from winning out this map and this match in a 2-0 fashion. And again, the statement that sends to everybody else about their group stage performance be massive for them. NiP have probably this one final chance, maybe a second one at the match point round.
Yeah.
It's going to be an awkward economy state. At least they have the buy. It's got to be do or die.
Yeah, you're at that situation now where it's last chance saloon. It's getting ever so close to it. Hunter, look at the aggression. Down from mid. Rez has got no idea. The M4's going to be out of strike. And he's even got a teammate of Monacy to peek with him.
Leg shot on Plopsky, caught off guard, jumping in the middle of the air. Jax at least makes a mistake against ESL, but m0NESY able to close out against Plopsky. He's aware that ESL pressing forward. Hunter doing the exact same thing on the other side of the map. Ahead of Banana through the smokes. Fuzi caught m0NESY, lightning fast reactions. Doesn't get the kill towards it. Will still look up towards top mid and connect that shot on Hampus instead. It's a lockdown round for G2 as ESL stands in the clutch, and surely he doesn't win this.
Players everywhere coming in from spawn, bottom of Banana, out into the apartments. ESL is just hoping that he can isolate some of these individual duels. Alexi playing out from library catches him off. And similar characteristics to a lobby crunch on Nuke. The fact that players are just everywhere there. Hunter's running down from mid. You've got m0NESY looking with the AWP up towards the apartment. And then even when you think, okay, that's just going to be it, the Banana players start getting aggressive. G2 just continue fighting in that round.
Another tactical pause called in. NiP losing an all-important one. Their campaign could close out on a loss. Maybe they might not be getting that undefeated group run that they were hoping for. We obviously heard from Rez earlier on prior to the matchup and how excited he was to try and focus fire on that. Not worked out this way thus far, though. They still have one final chance to bring it back and deny the match point from G2. Still 6 rounds to make up. And they're going in half by. They're playing for overtime.
Oh, this is risky. Put yourself in a stance where the pressure really starts to build going into round 24. Pace might be the factor they need going into an eco round like this. An opening man advantage would be everything. It's not going to happen. m0NESY with the AWP again.
Yeah, it's a caught. It's in the air. He's out towards that brackets position. m0NESY still trying to look around the corner, ready for Hampus and co. All away for the time being. Fall back to passive.
Yeah, just play the numbers game. Very calculated here for G2. Don't need to continue to overface. Don't need to get hungry in the situation at all. And just know that you can keep refacing with that util down towards the top of Banana position. NiP now starting to show some presence up to A.
Flashes ahead over at the short position. Not gaining full control for NiP. Just prodding at the A site. About their true hit that might come through towards the B site instead. Bomb on the back of Plopsky. Nico and Alexi to defend.
Both B players have got smokes. That's just going to waste some further time. Goes down for Alexi. Another HE. How much chunk damage does this do? Oh, decent amount. Not bad at all.
Yeah, pretty fair against Plopsky in particular. G2 now looking just to lock down the defensive as the smoke start coming in for the T side line execution. Set Rez spotted and sprayed by Alexi B. Plopsky there with a decent trade back of his own. Hunter can get himself a triple, and it will be a 15-8 for G2 now on map and match point on for the 2-0 against NiP. It's 7 rounds to OT.
And when we spoke when the game started, Jay, about the head-to-heads, 11 maps won to NiP, 16 for G2. When it comes to the cores, 5 best-of-3s going the way of G2, 4 for NiP. I don't think we've ever seen a best-of-3 with these kind of scorelines before. This has been so one-sided in favor of G2 this time around.
Again, a statement to make for this team. It might not be in the playoffs, but they're proving that they are of that caliber. m0NESY has started off against Fuzi. Frag. Rez will try and act out towards Banana, try and gain control of this part of the map.
You could just see in the second half how many opening man advantages G2 are finding. And m0NESY in particular, always aggressing down into a brackets peak. HE stack out towards a Banana position. Not going to do a massive amount of damage, but it's chunks. It's all about adding the numbers up.
Pressure will continue. G2 want to try and waste as much time against NiP because, again, they just take all the advantages. Rez on the sandbags boost, can't see above the smoke, needs a teammate for that. Slight gap there for Alexi to work with. The jump face has now spotted him and Rez backs off.
Put that incendiary down, slow the play. Rotations are going to be slow. It's all going to come down to the anchors.
They smoke it off. Alexi in a first cubby. Checked upon by the boost spot angle, and indeed Plopsky gets a double up. Nice and effective. He takes a ton of damage on Rez and Hampus. A nade back could take one of these players down. Onto Coffins. Set attack that evades most of it. The spray through to Plopsky will not take the bomb carrier out of play. So it goes down successfully. And I think G2 want to save their weapons here. NiP will find an important survival round.
Information must not be relayed over just on how low those players are. But just know yourself, you've got so much money to work with just by next round. Give ourselves a better chance of closing this map, not getting into a circumstance where we were against Fnatic a couple of days ago, where we were up by a massive scoreline. We were up 14-6. We struggled to close. It ended up being 16-14 on Inferno. Think back to what happened against Entropic yesterday. They were up 14-7 on Dust 2, went to overtime and they lost it. They were up 13-8 on Nuke against Entropic and ended up losing that one as well. So just knowing this isn't our chance, we can still do some further damage, and Jax has even managed to get an AK.
Yeah, a great round from G2 in the post round at the very least. NiP got the round itself, but losing 2 more players. And again, you look back to that money line and think, ooh, might not be all that confident. We're seeing a Galil coming into one individual. Another start for Plopsky.
Lovely.
Ray came in blind from the man. Okay, I wasn't sure if it was at the Shire or from the boost spot itself. It's a great sequence from him to burst into the site, and they're going to need more plays like that here, NiP.
Now, 3 players over towards Banana early round from G2, not looking to contest it straight away. Hampus just jiggling forward, getting smoked and flashed away. No real way that they can pop through this other than just a smoke and a charge forward.
In the area's down. Much being done to Alexi to kick things off. We're taking none of it, just tapping forward ahead of that banana position as Plopsky sets up the A smokes. Brackets control will attempt to be gained here. Hunter and Jax will be forced behind them.
A lot of manipulation with some of the CTs here for G2, starting to bring more mass players over to the A side when it comes to the initial side defensive. And for NiP, even taking some of this banana control, they have to deal with the AWP.
Oh, what a shot for m0NESY. So well timed against Rez, full blinded, still found the kill. It's 1 out of 4 required. NiKo is going to get a second. Trades in for Plopsky and S-Tag, but Alexi B gets involved in the mix. So a 3-on-2 for G2. That bomb still needs to get picked up back at T-Stairs. And m0NESY could cut off the carrier here. Looks onto the man, just back and forth and doubles up. That could be match winning. S-Tag now on for the clutch. Try flash his way back into Banana. A second flash. m0NESY is caught blinded and will miss the shot this time. A re-smoke goes down. S-Tag ready for the swing. Spray blinded. Knife pulled out. m0NESY at point blank. Missing his shots all the same. And somehow S-Tag escapes with the kill and should get the bomb down. He's up against 2.
Now Hunter and Jackson come quickly out from that banana position. Hearing that bomb go down, S-Tag's got to fight.
Didn't spot the man. Coffin to wait. Jax ready with util. Hunter spotted now. Engagement. S-Tag isolating these fights. 3 kills to his name. Needs to win the quadra to try and hold this together. Try and keep NiP alive. He's playing behind the smoke and Jax has no idea. Taps it and S-Tag just sprays. The hero for the Ninjas as they continue to fight for their lives.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe that's even a possibility of getting a clutch forward. In that sort of situation, it looked like it was completely done. m0NESY had dropped that bomb. They'd almost rotated around one another, going through the smoke and vice versa, dealing with the AWP, getting that bomb down. And then even for Hunter and Jax to work that 2v1, they're not peeking together, Jay. They offer up individual duels because Jax is still setting up util as Hunter aggresses forward.
What a round. And NiP within 5. Overtime is calling. So at G2, Alexi trying to win this first engagement against Hampus, does so much damage. He somehow escapes with a kill on NiKo. Alexi's going to burn, try and engage against a second player who is doing some more damage towards that player. And they back up towards Banana, lands pretty close to center of mass. And Plopsky tanks the damage. The AWP for m0NESY, ready for the shot, and he doesn't miss.
You've just, what else can you do there? You're trying to jiggle peek, you're trying to get a flash over the top. m0NESY, another great impact frag by him, and even for Hunter with that flash over the top, he doesn't continue peeking, but realizes that the T's are falling back from that car area.
Bomb will get recovered by Plopsky. The other 2 starting to peek in towards long. m0NESY's back to receive them. Misses that shot. Gets away with the nade. They look down through the smokes, blind firing, hoping he can catch S-Tag in the cubby corner. The flash goes over, he turns away from it, he connects that next shot. 2 to his name, 2 more to go. Jackson turn around, flanks involved. Plopsky comes up with his own counter flank, needs to get that bomb down here. Up against 2, can he clutch this time? Hunter, quick to the side, round of the corner. He's in there, he's trying to force him out. The spray's not good enough. And G2 will close it. A 16-10 on map 2. A 2-0 series victory that stuns NiP. They will remain in the top start of the group. group, but that is a statement to set in for G2.
Yeah, it absolutely is. What a much better performance coming through from G2, and it was from the outset alone on their opposition's map pick of Vertigo to start it off, and then on their home turf on Inferno, we saw positive signs all around by the internationals.
Well, it came in a little bit too late, and it's a shame they didn't replicate that against some of the other squads in